Hi guys, and welcome. Today I'm going to be telling you about a fantastic plant that if you don't already have it in your gardens, you're going to be wondering why you don't. And if you do already have it, you're going to be learning some new things about it. So please listen in. I'm talking about hyssop, or also called purple hyssop, anise hyssop, and by its scientific name, Agastache. As you can see, it has beautiful lavender blooms. And not only are the lovely blooms, but it blooms for a long time. It blooms from July until frost. So it's not one of these perennials that is done in 2 weeks. You'll have blooms from July until frost with this. The leaves are fragrant, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see that on film, but it attracts many pollinators. It attracts butterflies and bees, and there's one right here. So the leaves taste of anise or a mild licorice flavor. So it's also edible. In fact, you can find many recipes online for it, from everything from using it in salads to using it with chicken, cookies, so you can cook with it. And although it's edible to us and we love it, the deer don't. And I know your troubles with deer. I have huge deer issues, and I'm going to be pointing them out a little bit later in this video. But the deer don't eat it. Meanwhile, we can. In fact, one of the ways that I use it is to take like 3 or 4 sprigs in a pitcher of lemonade and just muddle them in the pitcher of lemonade. I've also used the leaves in a mango and black bean salsa. So those are some ways that you can use it. It gets about 3 feet tall usually, so you can use it in the front or the middle of the border. Some I have seen get as high as 4 to 5 feet tall, and I have one that's even much taller, which I'll show you in a while. But usually it's about 3 feet tall. Hyssop is a member of the mint family, but don't let that scare you. It does not spread like mint does. It doesn't send out runners. It grows as an individual plant. It does reseed itself, which is a wonderful thing because you can just spread the seeds to places where you might like it. And you can grow it easily from seed, so it's very economical to do that. You can see also that I use it in containers. Let me show you this one. Again, huge deer problems. This container is not sprayed. The hyssop survives. I also, what I do is use it in combination with lantana, which the deer sometimes leave alone, sometimes they bother. Okay, and I use it with chives, which the deer don't eat. So with the fragrance of the chives, the hyssop, they tend to leave the containers alone. You can also add sweet alyssum flowing from the front. From some of my containers I do that, so if you have sweet alyssum, your container will look attractive and won't be bothered by the deer, except for maybe the lantana. There aren't very many annuals that you can use in containers that the deer will not get to. But this is one idea for a deer-proof container. Anise hyssop is winter hardy through zone 6, where it returns for me even in containers. But you have to use the blue varieties like this one, not the reds or the oranges. They do not return after the winter. Another great reason to grow anise hyssop is that it produces seeds that the goldfinch love. Isn't this a great sight to have in the garden? So if you have anise hyssop, you have a good chance of getting finches coming in, and you'll be able to observe them and enjoy their bright yellow colors. It's just a lot of fun to watch. Also, don't confuse it with this plant, giant yellow hyssop, which is native and grows 6 feet or more, but is not at all deer-proof. Deer love it. Whether you have a small garden or a large one, I encourage you to use native plants. We really need them in order to help our insect population, which some studies are indicating are declining by as much as 70%. And we need insects. They pollinate 1 out of every 3 bites that we eat. And not only that, but they are also responsible for getting rid of a lot of the waste. They break down, the dead leaves, the branches. They help to break those down. So please subscribe so that you can continue to receive information on plants such as this that you can use. I'm going to show you some other things in the back. I'm going to show you a large one, and I'm going to show you some of the deer damage that I have experienced. Here is hyssop growing in my garden in a location where I have allowed it to reseed itself and attracting many pollinators. So try it out and let it reseed itself. I'll show you the gigantic one that's growing for me this year. So this is unusual, but just take a look at how tall this one has gotten. So here's my neighbor's front lawn. This is what I'm competing with in trying to grow plants here. And this is a daily sight. This is not unusual. Here on my front porch, I had 2 containers to welcome my guests full of begonias and coleus and million bells. This is the second one that had looked exactly the same as the first one I showed you. So begonia's gone. The only thing that survived a little bit is million bells because they were in the back, I guess. But they just come right up to my front porch and make a meal out of it, helping themselves to the all-you-can-eat deer buffet. See these stems with no flowers on them? These are Japanese anemones, which are deer resistant. They are not native plants, however. So yes, they're deer resistant. The deer don't eat the leaves. But what good are they without the flowers? It's not the leaves that I grow them for. Here's another example, my oak leaf hydrangea, which should look like this now in mid-August with those lovely blooms. And this is a native, but the top's okay. Just don't look down below 4 feet where there are no leaves, where the branches, you can see them all through. We can all help improve our ecosystems one garden at a time by planting native plants. Please click the subscribe button so that you can learn more about plants like Anise hyssop to use in your garden. After all, what more could you want? It's deer resistant, it's fragrant, it's edible, and it attracts butterflies, bees, and other pollinators. So have a great time using hyssop, and thank you for watching.